I was in top set maths, and I did additional maths as well. So I felt good on that respect, but I felt quite crap in the class because I felt like I was really behind everyone. My teacher didn't have much confidence in me, so going into the exam I didn't feel too good, but it all came out fine. I've not used it since, and life goes on.
In maths, I didn't enjoy school because I was put in the top set and I found maths one of the hardest subjects. I got moved around multiple times and I found it didn't really benefit as I needed to have additional help. And I managed to pass my GCSEs, but it could have been made a lot easier than it actually was made out to be.
So I loved maths in school, mainly because it was one of the subjects I was better at. Compared to English, I was shocking. So yeah, I really enjoyed maths. I'm pretty sure I had the same teacher throughout, from like year 8 to year 11. So that's probably partly the reason I enjoyed it. I think it was just a coincidence. No one else seemed to have that. Yeah, loved it, and my best friend loved maths as well, so we'd sit next to each other and I really enjoyed, and I got an A. But yeah, it was just because it's kind of in my family, so I liked it.
I was in Middlesex Maths in Ysgol Dewi Sant in St David's. Maths was never really my favourite subject in school. I still wanted to always get a good grade, but I just didn't enjoy the classes, and one of the reasons was because a teacher, he never really took a shine to our class. He would never explain what he was doing. He'd read out of a textbook. So when we were trying to work out what we were doing between each other, he would get very annoyed and normally send one of us out of class, and that happened to me quite a bit because I was always asking people for help. So I just kind of lost interest. I got really bored and I just didn't really want to be part of the lesson, to be honest. So when he left the school and we had a new teacher step in, Mr. Jenkins, he was a legend. He would put evening classes on and make sure all of us understood what we were doing. He'd break down every single maths question into like a real life situation so we could visualise what we were trying to do. And it made me learn that I'm more of a visual learner. I had to see the equations on the board before I could figure out what I was writing, and it really, really, really helped me. And I got a B, so I passed thanks to him. But yeah, maths was never really my strong point, but we need it, so.
I found maths okay in school, but I think I was put into the wrong set, so they pushed me to go into top set, which I understand that it was good intentions behind that and to try and push me to get a higher grade, but I struggled a lot and I had to have 2 years of tutoring just to scrape a C at the end of my GCSEs. And I just think that a lot of the stuff that we were taught just isn't really relevant to anything that I do now in my everyday life, and apart from like adding and subtracting, I don't use any of the stuff that we were taught.
Being in a bilingual school, there's only about 14 of us in the Welsh stream. I found that didn't really get the support I needed, and deciding between higher tier or intermediate tier, I didn't really feel like we had much support on which one we should be doing, and I don't really use any numeracy skills in my day-to-day life.
I was in the middle set for like maths and numeracy. When I did my November exams for my GCSEs, I got C's in both numeracy and maths. Now I thought this was great because I wasn't sure I was actually going to pass GCSE maths because I struggled a little bit with it in school. I then got put into the higher tier set for GCSE, so that means I would be doing the more advanced paper. From the November till the July, I didn't really get the sort of support I needed to go up another level, and I felt as though my time was being wasted by going to these maths lessons when I already had my GCSE maths. So I went through that next sort of 7-8 months trying to just do the best I could, but I knew I wouldn't do much better. Anyway, when I got my results back in the summer of that year, I actually got 2 C's again, which annoyed me a little bit because I thought, well, if only I'd been given a bit more support in these lessons, I could have done a little bit more. With the higher tier questions, there was a lot more advanced things that weren't in the middle tier exams, and I felt a little bit hard done by, where I could have done a lot better if I'd have had maybe the support I wanted. So I've always been better at English, but my maths has sort of always been just tailing behind a little bit more. I think that's a little bit of a regret of mine, is that I didn't go a little bit further. I'm currently doing a motor vehicle qualification, and if I was wanting to go into engineering, I need at least a B in maths, so it's holding me back a little bit not having it, but at the end of the day I've still got a C, so I can't complain.